First question, ma'am, sir. Sir?
Our apologies to our foreign guests if we speak in Filipino.
I can translate for you, sir.
I represent our TV program. It's a health program at TV5. Ang katanungan ko po, bakit hindi pa napapayagan ng cannabis whereas in patients na may severe pain ay pinapayagan ang morphina, which alam naman natin na mas addicting ito at mas marami itong side effect sa ating katawan. Yun lang.
Alright, he's from TV5 representing a health show, and his question was, why is cannabis not permitted yet? Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. And why is it permitted to those with severe medical conditions? Tama po, sir.
Why is morphine instead of cannabis?
Okay, sorry. Let me correct that. Why is morphine allowed instead of cannabis?
Let's address the question to Dr. Angel Gomez.
Okay. I think it's a regulatory issue, and it has to do with the classification of morphine versus cannabis. Okay, morphine is already Philippine National, PND formulary, where the drugs that doctors can prescribe are listed. And the only reason cannabis isn't on that list because it's regulatory classification now as level 1. Okay. So it's still considered as dangerous as heroin, as dangerous as methamphetamine. But hopefully the legislation will change that because the FDA in America is already beginning the risk classification from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2. So that's a significant reduction in its regulatory status. And hopefully that might loosen the rope, so to speak, so that we can probably be able to dispense. Prescribe and dispense. So it's a question of how the law will translate into legislation that will allow us to do this. Currently, it's not in our favor.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Do you have any further questions, sir?
Well, hindi naman po question, but from what I gather, more of the law than the benefit for the patient.
Until we reclassify, then we shall be able to prescribe. Next question.
Yes, sir. Please approach the mic. Don't forget to state your name and the publication you represent, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Stanley from Reserve.com, lifestyle blogger. I have a question to Senator Ronald Padilla. Assalamualaikum. With medical cannabis legislation often facing cultural and political resistance, how do you plan to address public misconception about about its use? Stanley. La, Mafi. Apa salin ka Muslim?
Peace be with you, brother. Salam. Alam niyo po, para magkadugtong din po yung tanong niyo, yung kasama po natin sa Channel 5. Ang problema po kasi sa cannabis, sabihin na natin marijuana, kasi galing doon sa marijuana po kasi yung pangalan. Eh alam naman po natin, 50s hanggang 60s, 70s, 80s, medyo naging biktima ng politika din ng marijuana sa Amerika. So, parang nagkaroon ng kampanya doon against sa race ng mga tao, against the Hispanics, the Negroes, ganyan. In-identify sila kasama ng marijuana. So matagal na panahon yun, kasi tagal naman, ang discrimination naman, racial discrimination, kailan naman lang natin yung nakita mula na, ano? Nabawasan, ito lang naman ang pagpasok ng 21st century. Ngayon lang natin nakita nawawala yung discrimination. So, sabay din yung marijuana. Habang nawawala yung diskriminasyon doon sa mga progresibong bansa, na tinatawag natin sa progressive countries, yung mga developed countries, kasabay na rin yung mga research nila, mga evidence-based nila, scientific patungkol sa marijuana. So sila din mismo, tinanggal na nila yung pangalan ng marijuana. Pinalitan na nila ng cannabis. Kasi the marijuana itself, ang dating talaga is wow, get high. Yung talaga di ba? Talagang pangalan, marijuana pa lang, high ka na eh. Di ba? So, So, di ba? Pinalitan nila talaga, medical cannabis. So, yun yung, ganito ko siya, ikinukwento sa mga kapwa natin sila doon. I talk to them, evidence-based, scientific-based. That's why I went to Israel. I went to Prague. I went to interview. I want to see with my own eyes how they do it. The difference between the buds that make you high and the buds that is medical is really far. Kasi po, yung recreational, kung saan-saan lang po talaga tumutubo. Kahit patungo lang yung buto niyan, tutubo. Yun po yung recreational. Pero nakita po natin na difference noong medical cannabis, talagang pharmaceutical grade, talagang malinis, talagang kumbaga inaalagaan po nila yung health talaga ng tao. So yung gano'n po siya binibenta. Gano'n na po, ano, talagang dinidirekta ko na po ang mga taong bayan na alam niyo po, totoo po yung sinabi ni Dr. Galo, nahuhuli na po tayo. Huling-huli na po tayo. Kulelat na nga po tayo. Hindi ko maintindihan bakit ang Pilipino, bakit gusto natin laging kulelat tayo. Nauuna tayo. Biglang, ito ang sakit natin Pinoy. Kasi masyado tayong magaling talaga tayo. Nauuna tayo sa lahat ng bagay. Pati sa Republika, nauuna tayo sa Asia. Pero hindi tayo natututo sa pagkakamali natin. Yung mga ibang bayan na nanonood sa atin, yung mga kapitbahay natin, nauna na yung Pilipino, pag-aralan nga natin. Sila natututo sa ating pagkakamali. Pero tayo, hindi tayo natututo. So, ganun din sa marijuana, ganun din sa cannabis. Ano? Ang dami natin dapat nang ginawa. Alam niyo po ba yung hemp, na yan pong hemp na sinasabi nila na ang Australia, ang Japan, nagtatanim na sila ng hemp. Tayo, bawal pa rin. Alam niyo po yung hemp, yan po yung pinagkukunan ng CBD oil. Naayaan po sa Japan, pag nagpunta po kayo, ang lalaki ng 5 fingers, pag nagpunta kayo sa Japan, kung saan-saan nasa paligid sa Japan, kasi makakabili na sila ng CBD oil nang hindi kayo nuhuli. Eh dito po sa Pilipinas, boss, kulong ka, CBD oil lang. Yun po yung mga ganung bagay na paatras tayo, mga kababayan ko. Simple lang naman po ang gagawin kong pagbenta sa inyo ng medical cannabis. Yung ating pong gobyerno, laging umaangal kapag gusto bumili ng armas, kulang ang budget namin, kailangan namin bilhin ito, lahat. Basta paggaling sa ibang bansa, welcome sa atin. Gamot, lahat. Pero bakit pagdating dito sa medical cannabis, masyado tayong kontra? Ano ba ang meron sa medical cannabis? At hindi natin matanggap na ito ay gamot. Eh yung lola ko, naalala ko pa yung pag masakitan siya ng lola ko, pupunta sa bundok sa amin, sa kuya ko, pupunta doon sa bundok, kukuha ng ng damoski. Di ba? Parang matagal na itong gamot. So yun po, ganun po siya binibenta na matagal na itong gamot. Hindi ito bago. Hindi ito walang testing, sinaksak sa atin. Di ba, meron sinaksak sa atin, walang testing, pumayag tayong lahat. Ito, puno na ng testing po. Lahat po ng bansa na progresibo po yung tinatawag po natin talagang developed countries, meron na po silang medical cannabis. Sorry boss, mahaba masyado, talagang ganun po.
Shukran Jidan.
I just want to add there, sorry. So with our patients that we treat all over the world actually, and I treat a lot of Filipinos, they're coming to Thailand and other countries, so we want to try and keep also everything here, but we use oils, we use tinctures, we use capsules, we use gel caps, so it's dosed like a medicine, okay? We use topicals for pain. We are not using the flower where the patients are smoking it, we are using it as an actual medicine. And for the last 8 years, I've got thousands of patients, and my patients go to work. None of them are high. They may be happy, but none of them are high. They're able to function. In fact, because their neurons are firing, and it causes neurogenesis, which is a good thing, which means it's rewiring my brain in a positive way. You actually become smarter. So I love to have happy staff and smart staff. So that is what we have been seeing. So I think we need to also move away from the misconception, because all of my patients, none of them are high, they're able to work, they're able to do everything, and I'm talking about doctors themselves that I treat. I'm talking about government officials, I'm talking about high-profile CEOs. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Ayun, kahit English yun, naintindihan ko. Hindi high, happy.
Alright, our next question, sir. Please introduce yourself and the publication.
My name is Ray Jack Blum, Lifestyle Blum. When we were studying about dangerous substances, marijuana or cannabis was classified as for its hallucinogenic effect. I think I did not catch that on the report of Dr. Gallos. Can you enlighten us about the hallucinogenic effect of cannabis? And my second question is about the legislation. The fear, I think, with regards to cannabis is rooted on how it can be abused. So what are the safeguards in the legislation to prevent that? Thank you.
Let's answer the first question.
Okay, thank you. I'll answer the first one. Yeah. So with regards to THC, THC is the psychoactive component of the cannabis plant. It can cause psychoactiveness. I'm not going to say hallucinations or hallucinogenic. It can be, but it is dependent on dosing. So we're not talking recreational, we're talking ridiculous dosing of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 milligrams of THC. I'll start my patients with CBD. The CBD component, cannabidiol, is non-psychoactive. And the THC, we start them with a low dose from about a 2 milligram THC. So we are dosing according to the receptors that are firing, and we are dosing according to the needs of that patient. Then we call it microdosing, and we slowly move up in microdose. But as I said earlier, when you compared it to opioids and morphine, that can kill you. And yes, that's hallucinogenic as well, morphine, and you can trip nicely on morphine and fentanyl and all of that. But it causes a lot of problems because it affects the respiratory center of the brain, which means the patients can die. So that was taken away from us in medical school. All we learned about are the dangers, because as Honorable Senator Robin told us, it was an agenda, it wasn't actually based on facts and science. So if we look at dosing, and dosing is done correctly, the hallucinogenic properties can be counteracted. The other ways we can't counteract it is with CBD. CBD is the antidote to THC. So when we dose with a ratio of having CBD and THC together, so the patients do not suffer the psychoactiveness of THC, but they get the therapeutic benefits. But the main point I want to make here, guys, is that even if you're taking high doses of THC, yes, you may get a bit high, but you're never going to die. But if you take opioids, you're going to get totally out of it and you're going to die. And that is the message that I want to get across. And I know you'll touch on the legislation and abuse, but I want to quickly just touch on abuse. How are you controlling alcohol in this country? How are you controlling the abuse? You can go and buy 20 or 30 beers. How is that controlled? You saw that alcohol was way more addictive and you can die from alcohol, but you cannot die from cannabis. How are we controlling that? How are we controlling that abuse? How are you controlling the abuse of tobacco and nicotine? You can die by smoking that. You saw the stats, 30%. How are you controlling that abuse? So I think we must also trust in our Filipino people. We must trust that our patients need this as a medicine, and we need to open our minds. I'll hand over to you.
Actually, you explained it there. Asa na ba si boss? Yes, sir. Opo. Alam niyo po, noong kwento ko lang po, medyo mahaba akong magkwento kasi kailangan, yun po kasing, ito pong aking journey sa cannabis. Hindi po ito basa lang sa libro, hindi lang ito, kundi ito po yung research din na ginawa ko po talaga, pumunta talaga po sa mga lugar. At ako naman po siguro pag pinag-usapan po natin yung recreational na marijuana, ako po taga Baguio, may gurot, so given na exposed din po ako sa ganong klaseng band. So, ibig ko pong sabihin, ito, malayo po talaga, ito po yung kailangan natin tanggapin muna. Ang recreational marijuana, miles po ang layo niya sa pharmaceutical. Hindi po ito pwede natin ipagtabi. Ito pong recreational, marumi ito. May mga tinatawag tayo, pwedeng may fertilizer, pwedeng kung ano-anong dumi, pwedeng expose sa lahat. Ito pong pinatutubo sa mga pharma, malinis po ito, wala po itong kahit organic po ito, wala itong kahit anong nilagay silang wala, malinis siya, kahit yung mga tinatawag na mga lumot o yung mga molds, wala siya. So, doon po, nakakahiwalay na siya. No? Kung kinasabi po natin, paano natin kukontrolin, pag yung medical cannabis ay inabuso, sabi, doon na po tayo kagad, ha? Doon na po tayo kagad sa inabuso. Hindi ko na po ako makikipag-plastikan sa inyo na, hindi, baka hindi maabuso. Pilipino pa. Diba? Sabihin na natin, inabuso. Pag inabuso po ito ng Pilipino, itong medical, wala pong pwedeng mangyari sa kanyang negatibo. Ito nga po, dito nga po sa recreational na madumi na, wala pang pwedeng mangyari sa kanya. Hindi nga siya pwedeng mamatay dito. Kahit anong gawin niya, kahit kainin niya yung buong puno, hindi siya mamamatay. Lalo na po dito sa medical cannabis. At napakadali po nito na sabihin natin i-control kasi meron po tayo din, ano? Kasi andyan na po yung tinatawag natin na S2, ano? Yung sa pag-release ng prescription, susunod po tayo doon. Kung ano po yung mga batas na natin ngayon o yung mga ginagawa na po ng DGP ngayon, susundin po natin yon. Ang inibalak po natin sa legislation ay nilikhan na po natin yung medical cannabis. Pero siyempre po sa IRR po niyan, ilalagay po yan na may mga doktor. Kaya po katatapos lamang po mag-seminar ng mga doktor natin na pinayagan na po natin, na binigyan na po nila ng lisensya, na pwede na po sila. Kapag ka ito po ay pumasa na, ito po mga doktor na to, sila lamang po yung pwede na mag-reseta ng medical cannabis. Kasi po, meron na po silang kaalaman sa dosage. Hindi po pwedeng kahit sino lang na doktor dyan, hindi po ganon. Kailangan po talaga may sapat po tayo. Kung ano po yung best practices po ng mga developed countries, susundan na lang po natin yun. Alam niyo po, hindi po madamot ang mga doktor. Ano? Yan naman po ang ating ipagmamalaki. Na pagdating po sa science, medicine, hindi po talaga madamot. Kahit po kung pumunta kami sa Prague, pumunta kami sa Israel, willing po sila talagang pumunta dito. Talagang sila pa mamamasahe. Ganun po ang sa kanila po kasi medical cannabis is a revolution. Sa kanila, revolution to. Passion nila to. This is not about money, this is not about fame, this is a revolution. Ganun. Maraming salamat po.
Alright, thank you so much.